Alright, just doing some recording as I'm just going some stuff tonight. And this time our tragic and brutal double slaying of siblings, Renay Martell and Tiffany Hunter, who were killed this on Thursday as some random gunman targeted them while I think one of them was celebrating their birthday, Monacom St. Andrew. So sisters Renay Martell and Tiffany Hunter were shot and killed in their community in Monacom and St. Andrew on this past Thursday. Reports are that sometime after 3 p.m. Martell, who was celebrating her birthday, they had just returned from Western Union when two men on a bike rode a commune and opened fire. She was hanging out on the lane outside family dwelling where she was shot, while Hunter was killed inside the family yard. Their mother Jackie was inconsolable as police and residents swarmed the community. All right, and I don't want to read what the mom said because that's so horrific what she went through. All right, so I'm going to say that Renee Martell was a mother of three girls. All right, and that's just more sad though. Like those poor babies are going to have to grow up with their mom. Don't say I'm where the dad is or so on, but that's sad though. I especially pray for these little poor little babies though. That is especially when they have to break the news to their mom and her aunt. So it says she was a mother of three girls, the youngest being 2 years old. Hunter died leaving a young baby boy behind. So also her sister also had a child, a young son as well. So all these poor little babies are going to grow up without their mothers. And again, I don't know where the dads are, but I hope the dads and the rest of the family are going to be there to pick up the pieces and raise poor babies as they have to live with what's going to happen, knowing that their moms are not going to be there for them physically anymore. All right, no, this gets even more grim. It said a few years ago, the family mourned a similar double loss. The sister's grandparents died days apart on her buried in a double casket. I can only hope that they died natural death, that they didn't die they didn't die a grim and very violent death like these poor siblings did. All right, so that's basically it though. So we have the death toll continues here in Jamaica, and it's gonna be a point where it's beyond surprising because you're just so this is so normalized to see these kinds of killings. And what's even more telling is that we're not even sure if the killers are going to be brought to justice because that's what the next step's going to be. Are the killers going to be caught and hopefully be sent off the mortal coil back to the other with other demons in hell, or they're just going to walk away, paying no consequences that we know about. That's what's going to happen next, though. But yeah, but that's as sad though. We have to pray for the first FM, especially those poor babies. But the thing is, all I can say is that there's just so much more to the story. Now, one thing I do hope, one thing I'll say this afterwards, but it's obviously that this was a hit, though, that these two were targeted by somebody or some people. Because it's very clear that they had enemies. And things that even though the mom's saying that these were innocent, normal, um, pure, virtuous women, all right. And we can only hope that though, because I think what I hope is not the case is that it turns out that these two were mixed up in something, and then as a result though, like they crossed somebody or some people, and that people said to like come put out a contract on both of these women, and the fact that they kill her in the yard, especially I hope the kids didn't see that. That does make it even worse, though. I mean, no, bear in mind, whoever killed them or organized the killings, that these people deserve to rot in hell. But like I said, there's just so much more to the story that we're not knowing. And it's just obvious that they had some enemies or some enemy. I mean, no one's saying who those enemy or enemies were, because or as it could be a case where they were a case of mistaken identity they were trying to kill somebody else, and these two were probably either they were the wrong people, or they are probably sending a message to somebody else that was close to them by just taking these two out. I don't know, but there's just so much more to the story. And what I really hope that these two weren't kerosines. And if you're watching Politics Watch, I would suggest that many do. Like these kerosines are these female criminals who play a very major role in a lot of the crime and the corruption that's rampant in Jamaica and even outside of Jamaica. And I can just hope that these two weren't kerosenes, all right? That these two weren't mixed up with some very unsavory people, and that this was the end result of that. But I do think there's much more to the story than we know. And somebody just online, I don't know if this is related to the story, but someone saying online that were the men to protect them, because again, don't mention where the dads of these were made, or why that there weren't any men in the community that could have just taken these guys out, like, yeah, like something in an action movie or something. That's a good question and all, but I think things like this, especially after the women are targeted, what and so on, there needs to be a warrior class right here. Because I know people will say, oh, we can't this and that, but there's things like that need, if this is going to be combated, because the police can't do everything. And believe me, there are criticisms of a lot of the JCF to be made, but let's just say, even despite that, um there needs to be more of a warrior class, that there's going to be a case where, okay, if you take these women out, though, those men who killed them, they're going to be in body bags soon after that. Because I can just only hope that there's some riders in this community, and if they're not, there needs to be. All right, because I'm not just going to talk about what happened, this horrific incident that happened. I'm just talking what needs to happen happen afterwards, because we're going to keep hearing more about stories like this until Jamaicans start getting serious about having a warrior class. Because too many of our men, unfortunately, and it's not a slam to all Jamaican men, we're not taught to be we're not taught to but no, we're not taught to be warriors and protectors of our community. Because if you can expect that because the thing, as said, not to use my words, that there, unfortunately, there's gone way beyond part where a lot of these killings are just emboldened, because they likely know there's not going to be any repercussions and whatsoever. But things like that need to change. But like I said, I just pray for these children now. And again, I don't know what these women are like. And again, I do hope these women weren't involved in something and so on, because it's just very obvious these were intended targets, and they had an enemy or some enemies who did it. And the thing is, I really hope that the people in community, if they know who did it, act accordingly. All right, don't just hide and just pretend and just do the three monkeys act, like, all right, because and so on, because what happens regardless, as a result of these killings, they're going to be more and more emboldened, because they know that, hey, these communities are under siege of terror, and they know that their people, well, they claim that they don't have the power to fight back, which isn't always true. But there's things like this people need to shed their cowardice and say, you know what, we're going to make sure that a lot of these babies are not losing their parents in these violent manners, and that's on the condition that the parents weren't involved in any criminal activities. I'll just put that out there soon. But there's more to the story than we know, and I hope justice is done, cause, and especially praying for these children though, cause, and I hope the fathers are in their lives and that they're going to be consoling their children at this point. So this is for State of Jamaica and the Caribbean. Check them out on YouTube pages. Miles Goodison Farron, Miles Jeff Productions, and Real Thoughts of Miles.